Hello students, today we are going to start with the last topic of Unit 1, 1.8 Voyaging Towards Excellence. Before starting with the chapter, let's begin with icebreakers. The first activity given over here, solved activity. There are different ways to travel from one place to another for different purposes. Discuss with your partner and match the words given in with their meaning in table B. Now, first given word over here is cruise. What is the meaning of cruise, children? A journey on a boat or ship to a number of places. Second is expedition. Expedition means in column B, it is given over here. Sixth one, a journey specially by a group of people for a specific purpose. Camp. Now camp is the fifth one, a place usually away from urban areas where tents are created for shelter. Trip, fourth one, a short journey to a place with a particular purpose. Excursion, third one, a brief pleasure outdoor visit. Picnic, second one, a short visit to an outdoor place where people celebrate and eat meals. And last one is voyage. This is the first answer, a long journey on a ship. This is the activity which we solved right now. Now let's move to the second activity. Discuss the following with your partner and complete the verb. Qualities required for excellence. Now what are the different qualities which we require to have an excellence in our endeavor? First is you should be visionary. Vision is given over here. Second, you should be very talented in that specific field. Third, you should always have innovative and creative bent of mind, children. Fourth quality which you require in order to acquire excellence is passion. Be passionate towards your goal. Then always have hard-working attitude. Okay, then next is commitment. You should be committed towards your task. Consistency. Always have a consistency in your work. And contribution and your integrity. These are the qualities which anybody of us require in order to have any sort of excellence in your required area. Now let's begin with Mr. Achyut Godbole's introduction, children. He is the writer of the chapter here. Achyut Godbole is a very well-known Marathi and English writer, children. And he he's a prolific writer in various genres also. And informative and informal writing style is his genre. And he adopted works from other languages in Marathi, specifically in Marathi. And then later on he became chemical engineer from IIT Mumbai, and currently he is actually in the top management position in a reputed company. Let's begin with the explanation of the chapter, children. Voyaging towards excellence. Now what is this chapter actually having? So it is an autobiographical sketch, and it has been penned down by Mr. Achyut Godbole. It depicts his journey from a middle class schoolboy to a famous writer, and he was a successful general manager of Patni Computer Systems. Then he headed many other reputed companies and later became a very famous writer. The present write-up discusses his quest for excellence, how he developed a thirst for knowledge. He discusses at length the ingredients and essentials of success and the ways to achieve it in this particular chapter. Now, let's begin with the extract children here now. He had a very simple upbringing. They were a lower middle class family. Their 300 square feet house did not even have basic amenities such as a fan and a refrigerator, a geyser, a dining table, or a gas stove, leave alone an air conditioner or a car. It was only when he entered the college that he got a watch and got a dining table and a gas stove at home. Nevertheless, culturally, he had a rich childhood. Poets like Vinda Karindikar, Mangesh Padgaonkar, and Vasant Bapat used to visit their home. And for hours, he could listen to their discussions about poetry and literature, Marathi and English. They used to talk about Keshasu, Mardekar, Shakespeare, Charles Dickens, and Thomas Hardy. He did not fully understand their discussion in depth, but he was immensely impressed. They also were lucky to have Pandit Kumar Gandharv, Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, and Pandit Jasraj visit their places and talk about Indian music till late night or sometimes dawn. This is how and why he developed his interest in literature and music during his school days. He did not, and even today doesn't understand the grammar of music, but he began to love it tremendously since then. Most of the times, the topics of discussions at their home were about music, literature, paintings, sculptures, etc. He could listen to the discussions about Van Gogh, Mozart, and Michelangelo, etc. It was because of such a milieu around him that he had a firm belief, which he still holds, that all arts are equal, if not more important in our lives than science or technology. He had learned from his childhood that money does not mean everything in life. It is necessary, but if at all there is something which enriches our life and puts meaning to our existence, it is the arts, music, and literature. This is not to say that he did not like science or mathematics. In fact, he loved these subjects. However, he did not study them only for scoring maximum marks in the examinations. He used to study these subjects, or any subject for that matter, of its inherent beauty. Now, inherent means something as permanent. Understood, children? So he used to study the subjects for the matter of its inherent beauty. He found Newton's law of motion beautiful and Pythagorean theorem elegant. Now, elegant is beautiful, graceful, or stylish in appearance. He loved solving problems of physics and mathematics of the standard 9th, and when he was in 7th standard, not to show off, but just because he used to get evolved in solving them. He used to love problem solving and used to enjoy finding out the most elegant method of solving them. Obviously, these problems are not a part of the curriculum, but he enjoyed the whole process. This attitude of looking beyond marks and examinations and to seek joy, obviously, these problems were not a part of the curriculum, but he enjoyed the whole process. This attitude of looking beyond marks or examination and to seek joy in solving any challenging problem helped him to develop a problem-solving attitude, which came handy when he appeared for his IIT entrance JEE, because this exam is completely based on your problem-solving ability and the ability to think not only logically but quickly and rapidly. He scored 100% of marks in mathematics in almost all the examinations that he appeared for from first standard until IIT, bearing only a few times. He stood 16th in the SSC board. At that time, this examination was for the whole Maharashtra, including Nagpur. And he stood first in the university in all subjects put together. Those days you could get an admission into IIT without the entrance test JEE if you had scored the first rank in the university. Therefore, he did not have to appear for the entrance test to get admissions into IIT, but nobody in Solapur told him about it. For he doubt, if anybody in Solapur even knew about this rule, therefore, he appeared for the entrance examination and he secured a very good rank in the same. Then he was quite happy getting into IIT, but his joy was short-lived. At Solapur, he had not seen any building which was more than 3-storied. Mumbai, however, was full of skyscrapers. At IIT, most of the students and professors used to converse in English, whereas his English was very poor. He had his entire education in Marathi. His spoken English was quite pathetic. Not only did he have a very weak vocabulary, but his pronunciation was also terrible. And his construction of English sentences were very awkward, to say the least. Due to all this, he was feeling quite lonely and terrified in Mumbai in general and IIT in particular. He had developed an inferiority complex. Now, what is inferiority complex, children? Lacking confidence. And wanted to run away from IIT and even Mumbai. Now, one day what happened? He was sitting at his mess table in the hostel sipping tea when a senior guy came and sat on a chair adjacent to him. He was a convent-educated guy with fairly sophisticated English and least spoken or colloquial English. He was a bit arrogant and wanted to pull his leg. We tried to engage in some conversation with him and started pointing out errors in just about every sentence or everything that he said. After about 5 minutes, he walked away after insulting him. He felt extremely humiliated and upset. And he was feeling quite depressed and diffident. Diffident here, the same meaning, children. He lacked confidence over there and went into inferiority complex. And this incident was the last straw. He was almost broken. He felt out of place there and literally wanted to run away to Solapur that very moment. However, it was only his self-esteem which stopped him. Suddenly, a feeling of determination and strength came over him and gripped him. Despite hailing from Solapur, if he could be a rank holder in the school, college or IIT with many awards in mathematics, there must be something right with him. Why should I give up? Or why should he give up? And that too for a silly small thing like English, he said. It was not to give up anymore, and he was determined to fight back. As he climbed the stairs of his hostel room, his plan was ready in his mind. Let's move to the next page, children. Normally, most of us who are educated in vernacular languages such as Marathi think in Marathi before speaking in English. Translate it in English and then somehow try to speak out these translated English sentences in an extremely awkward fashion. He had decided that he would do nothing of this sort. He wanted to achieve excellence. This urge to excel in anything that you try to do has been with him since the childhood. Whether he would succeed in this or not, he always set his aims high. In this case too, he wanted to speak excellent, elegant and fluent English. The first thing he did was to start reading English newspapers and English novels. He studied etymology and phonetics. Now, what is phonetics, children? Related to speech, sound, study of correct pronunciation of words in English language or any other language, and studied the roots of the words and how to pronounce them. He used to stand in front of the mirror and practice speaking, realizing his mistakes and correcting them by himself all the time and improvising and improving day by day. It took about 9 to 10 months, by which time he started feeling quite confident about speaking in English. At length, with anybody. His fear had vanished and he started feeling at home in his hostel. In his future career, out of 32 years in information technology field, he was the chief executive or managing director or head of software company with thousands of software engineers worldwide. During that period, he had to give several presentations or negotiate many contracts with the CEO, directors, or VPs in US, UK, or Australia. He was absolutely at ease at that time. It is only due to the efforts at IIT that he could sign contracts with millions of dollars worldwide and also run large global software companies. At IIT, he got fairly good marks in first 2 years. However, a very important thing happened while he was in his third year. He came in contact with about 15 to 20 extremely brilliant students, researchers, professors from IIT, TIFR, and VARC. They included top ranking students from IIT visiting professors in America. Universities and very renowned mathematicians in the world and so on. He was instantaneously is happening very quickly or rapidly, attracted to this group. This friendship had a lasting impact on his life. Until that time, he used to consider himself somewhat intelligent. However, after he met his friends in their group, he came to know what real brilliance meant and he realized where he stood. He was actually also very lucky that he came in contact with great people on the global scale early in his life. Later in his life, when Mr. Narayan Murthy left Patni to start Infosys, he started heading Patni's software division Infosys. He started heading Patni's software division occupying the same chair. His head office was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, USA, very near Boston. It was in fact the adjacent building to MIT in America. He had to visit the US every few months in those days. He used to visit MIT during lunchtime to meet his friends. There, one could see a couple of Nobel laureates at the dining table. If you walked for an hour from there, you could reach Harvard Square near Harvard University. He used to visit both of these universities and could talk to a number of Nobel. Where is it? He used to visit both these universities and could talk to a number of Nobel laureates. During these years, he traveled a lot to US, Europe, Japan, Australia, and could meet a number of great thinkers and management gurus such as Alvin Toffler, Peter Drucker, C.K. Prahalad, Tom Peters, or great technologists such as Vincent Cerf, who designed TCP/IP, which is the basic protocol of Internet. All these discussions with these great broadened his horizon and his aim and worldview became global. It taught him humility and made him realize that he had to achieve a lot in life. The lesson in humility and the hard work as well as passion for excellence was going to play a very important and vital role in his life. Coming back to his groups in IIT, his friends were not only more intelligent than him, but they were very well read. They had interest in all the subjects like science, technology, sociology, psychology, economics, philosophy, anthropology, archaeology, political science, etc. Their group was interested in all of these branches apart from all the fine arts such as music, literature, painting. In short, their group was interested in almost anything under the sun and which concerned human life and existence. He was immediately attracted to the group and developed immense and a deep interest in all these branches of knowledge. None of these subjects were part of their curriculum at IIT, but again, he never studied for scoring marks in any examination. Here was a sea of knowledge in front of him, which he thought was necessary to pass the examination of life, which was far more important than just passing IIT examination. It is very difficult to become a master or an expert in all these subjects, but it was very important for him to understand at least the basic principles of most of these subjects. Any of us could easily top the GRE examination and migrate to the US. However, that thought never even touched their minds. To understand the world and how it works in serving India and her people was far more important to them. Therefore, he plunged into, now what is plunged? Dived into all these branches of knowledge. It was a period of renaissance. Now, renaissance is a rebirth or revival of learning for them. And they used to discuss about relativity, Big Bang, aesthetics, literature, philosophy, economics, and many other subjects every day until late into the nights. His cupboard was full of books on a variety of topics. It is only because of the human curiosity that we have been able to make such a great progress in science and technology and social sciences. He has a number of limitations, but one thing he is proud of is the curiosity, humility, and humanity that is concern for our fellow human beings. He learned these values during his IIT days, and he also became a firm believer in rationalism and equality for all the castes, creed, races, genders, and religions. He started treating nature as God and humanity as religion. He passed from IIT, joined a non-violent social movement for tribals with Sarvodaya, participated in peaceful satyagraha, went to jail for 10 days, came back to Mumbai, was jobless for a while, worked for rupees 125 per month to supervise workers at the night shift in a mechanical workshop, changed 13 houses in Mumbai, and finally settled on information technology as his career. He spent 32 years in information technology, out of which he was a chief executive officer or MD or the software head for 23 years for large global multinational software companies with thousands of software professionals worldwide and 6 offices in US, 3 in Europe, 1 in Japan and 1 in Australia. He had to travel all over the globe around 150 times for business. During this period, he had also written 4 books with 500 to 700 pages each on information technology, published by Tata MC Graw-Hill and then translated into Chinese for global distribution. He learned a lot of things when he was running these large companies. The first one was the importance of teamwork. In today's world, nothing is possible without teamwork. You cannot be successful if you are a loner and an egoistic person. Secondly, you need to lead from the front by setting a good example in front of your staff. Third was that you need to treat your subordinates and your colleagues as friends. In his career, he made a few mistakes but learned a lot about motivation, being a good listener, target setting, and the art of delegation, which forms such an important part of today's management. After working for all these software companies for so many years, he wanted to return to his first love, that is to read and write on various subjects concerning human life and existence. Therefore, he gave up 2 offers of around 3 crore rupees per annum to become a writer. This is how his second inning as a writer in Marathi began. After this, he had written about 34 books in Marathi. Most of them have become bestsellers with tens of thousands of copies sold for each. However, it is not the sale or the money that is important to him as much as the fact that however, it is not the sales or the money that is important to him as such as the fact that those books have brought about very good changes in the lives of thousands of readers. After reading his autobiography Musafir and a book on psychology, Mannat, hundreds have come out of depressions and more than dozens have given up thoughts of committing suicide and decided to start all afresh. There are hundreds who tell him that they understood the theory of relativity or Big Bang after reading his book on science, Kimiagar, His book, Boardroom on Management, has created at least 20 successful entrepreneurs. Then there are hundreds who tell him that they know now can't understand economic times or NDTV profit after reading his book on economics, Arthat. Many have turned to mathematics after reading his book on mathematics, Ganiti. The same is true about his book on Indian music, English literature, Zapurza, painting, canvas, Western films, limelight, and Western music, symphony, or books such as Genius series, Rakta, or Vitamins, or Anartha. It is these reactions of thousands of readers and feeling that he is touching the hearts of thousands, if not lakhs, of his readers that keeps him going. Why is he telling you all his story? When he looked back, there are a number of lessons and values that he cherished and keep learning about even today. Some of these are thirst for knowledge, curiosity, humility, humanity, rationality, equality, teamwork, quest for excellence, never say die, thinking big. This was all about the chapter, children. In the next lecture, inshallah, we'll be having the activities of brainstorming.